Hi guys, it's Matthew here. Welcome back into another video, as a matter of fact. And in today's video is going to be another Star Wars ranking, as a matter of fact. So if you guys remembered when I reviewed the Acolyte show, I did tell you that in like the next two videos or so, I was going to be ranking all the Star Wars TV shows, the animated ones included as well. So yeah, I'm going to be ranking all of the animated Star Wars shows and the live action shows in one big ranking, as a matter of fact. So be sure to share your ranking down below in the comment section, guys. And my list is not the right list, it's just my list, and I would love to see yours as well, as a matter of fact. So yeah, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, I do more than just movies, TV, and physical media related stuff. I also play video games, and I also do Lego related stuff. I do all sorts of stuff like that here on the channel. So if you guys like to watch any of that stuff on YouTube, there will definitely be something in there that you will enjoy, as a matter of fact. And if you guys are not new to the channel, and if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you go subscribe right after this video, guys, and make sure you share this video with your friends, as a matter of fact, and leave a like. But with that said, though, guys, let's get started. So coming in last place, I have to give it to Tales of the Empire. So now, I was not real crazy about this show at all. I felt like every one of these episodes lacked the story that they were doing, as a matter of fact. And in particular, I just didn't care for how this entire story so like, it's like Tales of the Jedi, but except for this is built around the Empire, because it's called Tales of the Empire. And yeah, this show really lacked what it was going for, in my opinion. And I felt like they could have made this show better. If they could make these episodes as long as the Clone Wars episodes were, that probably would have been a better direction to go with this show, as a matter of fact. But yeah, some of this stuff is a prequel, and like the first half of this season is like a prequel, and then the other half of these episodes just take place after Revenge of the Sith, as a matter of fact. But it doesn't really fall anywhere in the Star Wars timeline that we have right now. Next up, I have to give it to Tales of the Jedi. So now, I expected a lot more out of this show, but I feel like this one had a bunch more quality than Tales of the Empire, if you were to ask me, because it tells us a story that we wanted to hear. Like, we want to know how Count Dooku became a Jedi, and so the first half of those episodes were about that, so it was a prequel. But then when you get to the other half of the season, it just takes place after Revenge of the Sith, and it doesn't fall anywhere in the timeline, and like I said, it's just like Tales of the Empire. But I feel like this one has a little bit of a story that people wanted, but the rest of it just ends up being like Tales of the Empire, in my opinion. And it's not, and yeah, in my opinion, it's just not a great show, in my opinion. None of these are great. I mean, they have some redeeming quality, but they're not, but they're definitely not at the top of my list. They're more towards the bottom because the story lacked. Next up at number 7. No, I think it's no, we're at number 8 now because that was number 9 and 10. Next up at number 8, I have to give it to Andor. So now, this show actually got a lot of mixed reviews. I heard a lot of people liked this show, and a lot of people didn't really like it as much. And personally, I've always been on the fence with this show because I get where it's going, because basically what it is, it's a whole story on before Rogue One, and this show leads up to Rogue One, because this story is about Cassian Andor. So I get that, but the issue is this show is very slow through the first half, and then it gets better as it progresses. But yeah, I actually really do like the Andor. I do think the Andor show is mid. I wouldn't say that I disliked it. I dislike it as much as Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire. But yeah, I understand where this movie was going for, but I feel like they could have done better with this show, and yeah, I don't think it's a great show. I don't think it's a bad show necessarily either. It's just mid. It's just mid for me, as a matter of fact. Next up, at number 7, I have to give it to Star Wars Rebels. So now, in case you guys have not been following Star Wars for as long as I have, this was actually the very first Star Wars project that came out where we had like all new characters, and at the time we didn't know who any of these characters were. They were all new to us, and that's what Star Wars Rebels is going to be like. And this takes place around the Empire era, so it takes place after Revenge of the Sith, and it's another show that takes place in between A New Hope. But yeah, originally I did not care for this show at all whatsoever. But now that since time has progressed for me, and we got like all these other Star Wars spin-offs to like fill in the areas and the gaps of this franchise that we have that we don't really know about. I actually think that this is a better show. And as you could probably tell, I think it's better than Andor. But yeah. But yeah, for the most part, this is better than Andor, but this is another show that's not like top tier. And what I didn't like about originally this is we just had all new characters, and we didn't really have anybody notable. I mean, Darth Maul and Darth Vader do make an appearance in this show. Obi-Wan even makes a little appearance in this show as well. But for the most part, it's not about notable characters. These in my opinion, these characters are a little bit forgettable. But yeah, in my opinion, this is like another mid show. In my opinion. So yeah. It's another mid show in my opinion, if you were to ask me. coming in at number 7. So there's actually 11 shows to talk about. So I miscalculated because I didn't get prepared before this video. So Tales of the Empire is number 11. Tales of the Jedi is number 10 for me. Number 9 is Andor, for me, and number 8 is Star Wars Rebels, and now we're at number 7 now. So I miscalculated. So at number 7, I'm going with The Book of Boba Fett. So now with this one, to be honest, I don't think this show is bad at all. I don't understand why a lot of people dislike this show, because I actually like this show. I actually think this is a good show for the most part, and I feel like people need to look into this show a little bit more, because I know why they made this show. Because so if you guys remembered, in season 2 of The Mandalorian, Boba Fett makes an appearance, and The Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi. So it takes place after the Empire has fallen. And in Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett gets sucked into the Sarlacc pit, and we thought he was gone for good. But then he makes an appearance in The Mandalorian. But then he left The Mandalorian, and his story wasn't really capped off. So they did the Book of Boba Fett to cap off his story. And so that's why they did the Book of Boba Fett. And yes, I would agree that this should have been a subplot of The Mandalorian, because I feel like it would have worked a little bit better. But for the most part, I was happy with how this show turned out. It definitely has some flaws. I will 100% agree there. But this show is not top tier at all whatsoever. But still, I think it's a fine show, and I'm happy of how it turned out. And I would say this is where everything gets good on this list, is when we hit the Book of Boba Fett, because I do think this is also a good show. In my opinion, I really enjoyed this show. So, coming in at number 6, I'm going with The Bad Batch. So now with this one, this one was actually the hardest one for me to place, because moments, and I mean moments, of inside of this one are great, because it's supposed to be a sequel to the Clone Wars, and we actually got introduced to all of these clones in the last season of the Clone Wars. So yeah, a good chunk of these moments are of inside of the show are good, especially in the last season that we got, which was season 3. And I really enjoyed the show, and I like how we got to see Cad Bane again. I was actually very happy that Cad Bane made an appearance in the Book of Boba Fett, because I thought that was kind of cool to see him as well. But with this but with this show in particular, this is another show that's pretty great, but it definitely has some flaws. Like I did not like that they killed Tech off. I kind of wish they kept Tech into the 3rd season, but they didn't end up keeping him at all whatsoever. So yeah, like I said, I wish they kept him alive. And to be honest, there are some not great decisions that they did. I feel like a couple of characters in this show made a lot of dumb decisions, and it's like they did their own thing instead of listening to Hunter or one of the other clones that's part of the Bad Batch, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is a great show, but it could have easily been top tier as this could have easily been top tier if they were to fix those flaws up, as a matter of fact. Reaching our top 5 now, I'm going with the Obi-Wan show. So this one, on the other hand, doesn't really have any flaws at all whatsoever. I actually heard some people, this is another one that I heard, some people liked it, some people did not, but personally, I thought this was a good show. And my reasoning for liking this show is that we get to see Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we get to see Anakin back in Star Wars as well. And I really liked this show, and I like the whole prequel aspect of it, from A New Hope to like A New Hope, because we get to see young Leia in the show, and same thing with Luke Skywalker. We get to see him when he was like 10 years old. Remember, they were born in Revenge of the Sith, so they weren't even a year old when they were born at the very end of Revenge of the Sith. And then the Obi-Wan show takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So Luke and Leia in this particular show are 10 years old. But yeah, I really do think that's a great show as well. But I really do like the little girl that plays Leia. I think she portrayed young Leia really well, in my opinion. And another thing in particular I like this show is I like the lightsaber duels between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Like, I like the first one that they had because it was really intense, and then I like the rematch at the very end of the season that they have, and even pretty much the other 3 Siths, the 5th brother, Reba the 3rd sister, and we got the Grand Inquisitor. Even those 3 Siths portrayed their characters very well. I have the Inquisitor side shuttle transport set, and I have the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have the Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader duel. I actually have them both right next to each other, right on that back corner right there. So yeah, I really did enjoy the Obi-Wan show as well. What I don't really get is why a lot of people were disappointed with this show. Because I actually thought that this show was pretty good, as a matter of fact. Coming next up at number 4 is going to be the Ahsoka show. So now, I thought of putting the Obi-Wan show over Ahsoka, but then I was all like, maybe I shouldn't. Because with the Ahsoka show, this actually picks up where a character's story left off. But with the Obi-Wan show, it doesn't really do that. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi's story finishes in the prequel trilogy, but then in the Obi-Wan show, 10 years after the Silver War, this is where Obi-Wan's at right now, and he has he has a new story to begin. So with the Ahsoka show, though, it wasn't like that at all, because Ahsoka Tano made an appearance in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, and like I said, The Mandalorian takes place right after Return of the Jedi, and the Book of Boba Fett takes place right after The Mandalorian. And then the Ahsoka show actually takes place right after the Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, all three of those shows take place back to back. So with that in mind, I am actually glad that they did a show based on Ahsoka, because when she made an appearance in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, she didn't really, her story wasn't really capped off in either show. But in the Ahsoka show, I feel like they did that to make her story, to cap off her story. But I wouldn't be shocked if they were to do another season for this show, because I would want to see another season, and I feel like the first season didn't really like cap off, like it was the end, that it was like the end of the entire show. So I think they should definitely do a second season rather than just leaving it open like that. Sorry guys, I gotta resituate myself here real fast. Alright, sorry about that guys. I thought I could wait till I was done. I thought I was done recording this video, but I couldn't. Okay, so as I was saying, I do think the Ahsoka show is better than the Obi-Wan show, because it actually picked up where a character's story left off in another Star Wars project, and that was the case with Ahsoka, as a matter of fact. And yeah, the lightsaber duels in here are really good. All of the villains in here. We got the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this show is pretty great in my opinion, as a matter of fact. Getting into the top 3 now. At number 3, I have to give it to Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So now, if you guys grew up watching this show, probably wouldn't be any surprise if you were to have it in your top 3. This is the best animated Star Wars show ever, and this is the only prequel show that takes place before Revenge of the Sith. Every other Star Wars show takes place after Revenge of the Sith, except for the Acolyte show, because that takes place before the Phantom Menace. But aside from those two, every other Star Wars show takes place after Revenge of the Sith, somewhere. And yeah, this show was really good. I like how they went more in depth on some of these Jedis that we see in the background. And even though this show's animated, we still see some of these Jedis in the background in the prequel trilogy. Like Kit Fisto, the guy with the green tentacles. He's in the background constantly in Revenge of the Sith and in Attack of the Clones. Same thing with Spice 10, Eth Koth, Agent Kohler. Almost every other Jedi that you see in the background of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith makes an appearance and has somewhat of a good chunk of the show. Has a good chunk in this entire show. We even get Plo Koon. He even makes an appearance. Same thing with Evan Peel. All this entire show is a phenomenon. And yeah, I like the show. I have watched all of the show. And and I even like how the last season ties in at the end of Revenge of the Sith a little bit, because Ahsoka was not in Revenge of the Sith, so they made her a part of Revenge of the Sith with the last couple of episodes of the last season, so she could be seen in the Clone Wars during Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, I thought that was really cool that they did it. Yeah, I was highly impressed with this show, and I thought they did a great job. Our runner-up, this is gonna be a hot take and a very controversial opinion, but at number 2, I have to give it to the Acolyte show. I really do. I really liked this show a lot, and I know the critics disagree with the fans, because the Rotten Tomatoes on this show are pretty high, but the audience score is pretty low and not very good. So yeah, personally, I really enjoyed the show, and the main reason on why I really liked this show is that it talks about something completely different, and what I've been wanting is for them to do like a Star Wars show or movie or something that takes place before the Phantom Menace happens, and we're getting another project that takes place before the Phantom Menace, because we're getting a Star Wars movie that goes back 25,000 years into the Star Wars universe. And to be honest, that sounds a little bit insane, but I kind of like the idea of it at the same time, because I want them to explore stuff that happened before the Phantom Menace. Like, what I really want right now is for them to do a story about General Grievous. I know most of you would rather have a story about Count Dooku, but in my personal opinion, I think we already know enough about him and how he ended up being a Sith before on how he became a Sith. So I think we already know plenty about that. So we don't really need a story. I think what's needed more is a story about General Grievous, because I think out of Darth Maul, General Grievous, and Count Dooku, General Grievous is the one that we know the least about, and so I think it's necessary for him to get his own show, in my personal opinion. But the Acolyte show was pretty good, and it was different because one of my favorite things about the prequel trilogy is we get to see all Jedis on screen together, and that's what this show did. I was really excited and pumped to see more Jedis on screen together like that, as a matter of fact. And we even got introduced to a new Sith. His name is Darth Plagueis. And to be honest, I thought he was a really good Sith, in my opinion. And the whole dynamic between the two twin sisters, Osha and May, I thought they were really good as twins, in my opinion. So I actually think the character development and the storyline in this movie was pretty good, and it was pretty well done. If you were to ask me, as a matter of fact, but so yeah, guys, easily coming in first place for me. It shouldn't be any surprise. It's gotta be, I have to give it to The Mandalorian. It's not any sort of shocker that this show comes in at number 1, because we got 3 seasons of this show, and minus the Bad Batch and the Clone Wars, this is the only live action Star Wars show that we've gotten multiple seasons of. And we got 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. And I think all 3 of them are equally just as good. I know a lot of you people weren't real crazy about the 3rd season, but I thought it was just as good as the other 2 seasons. Like, the first season was pretty good, as we get to see the Mandalorian develop as a character. But in the 2nd season, I thought it might be season 2 might actually be the best season, because we find this character is all developed. We know like his whole story from the 1st season, and he goes off on his own mission. And in season 3, it's like one last fight. So yeah, I like how all 3 of these seasons go in 3 completely different directions. And to be honest, guys, I don't think we're gonna get a 4th season, because we have a Mandalorian and Grogu movie in the works, and I think I heard somewhere that that's gonna cap off the Mandalorian show in some way. So if I'm wrong about that, it's possible that that we'll get another season. So don't question my knowledge. That is just what I heard, as a matter of fact. But if I'm wrong, I would not be surprised if we were to get another season. But if I am right, I would be shocked if we were to get another season, in my opinion. But so yeah, I hope we get to see more of the Mandalorian soon. Same thing with Grogu. Grogu is one of my favorite Star Wars characters probably ever, and he is one of the biggest merchandising. He's one of the biggest merches right now that is on shelves. And to be honest, I love The Mandalorian. I love every bit of this show. This show did not fail. Neither one of these seasons failed me either. I thought that this show was pretty great, in my opinion, and by far and so far, it is the best Star Wars show yet, so it comes in at number 1. So yeah, guys, that is my ranking of all the live action Star Wars and animated shows. As a matter of fact, be sure to share your ranking of all 11 Star Wars shows in the comment section down below. As a matter of fact, there's 11 of them total, with the live action shows and the animated shows combined together, as a matter of fact. So yeah, guys, I'm very curious to see what the next Star Wars show is going to be, or the next Star Wars project in general is, because we could be getting another Star Wars movie next, or they could continue just doing shows and spin-offs, as a matter of fact. But so yeah, guys, that pretty much does it for this video, as a matter of fact. Those of you guys that are new to the channel, I do more than just movies and TV and physical media related stuff. I also play video games, and I also do Lego related stuff. I do all sorts of stuff like that here on my channel. So if you like to watch any of that stuff on YouTube, please make sure you go check out my channel, because there will definitely be something in there that you will enjoy. And be sure to share this video with your friends and click like on this video. And those of you guys that are not new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you go subscribe right after this video, guys. Without any further ado, guys, I'm going to go get bringing back to more videos, because more videos are on the way sooner rather than later, as a matter of fact. But with that said, though, guys, take care, drink water, and stay safe. And I will see you all in the very next video. Bye.